Chag Sameach, everyone. Good morning. If you'll turn to page 3A, you'll find there the words for a little nigun that we'll sing together to prepare ourselves for this morning's service. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Hareini mikabel alai, and here I am, ready to take upon myself mitzvat haborei, the commandment of our Creator. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself. Nice way to start a morning of prayer service together in community. So I'll sing the melody one time through, then I'll ask you to sing it with me a little bit at a time, and when we've got it all together, we'll fill the room with love for our neighbor. It's like this. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And it's so popular, we'll start it again one more higher, because my voice is not quite awake, and maybe yours isn't either. But this is how we'll wake them up. So you sing back to me what I sing to you. Hareini mikabel alai. Hareini mikabel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Mitzvat haborei. Good. Let's just do that much. I'll sing it, then you sing it back to me. Hareini mikabel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Try it. Hareini mikabel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Listen. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Try that. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. The whole thing, here we go. Hareini mikabel alai, mitzvat mitzvah haboreh, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Good. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvah haboreh, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Beautiful. Okay, here's the last thing we're going to do. We're going to sing it a couple more times, but I'm going to ask everybody to stand. And while you're standing and while you're singing, I want you to just look around the room and make an eye contact, a connection with some of the other folks who are in the room, so that when you're singing the Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbors yourself, you are extending that connection and that love to other folks in the room. And then we're going to sing it a couple times. We'll start softly. We'll build the sound a little bit. Try to fill the whole room with the sound, so much so that the sound carries out into the street. People will hear us, and they will come and join us. And you will notice that throughout the first part of the service, because of the fullness of our singing, people will continue to come into the room and join the congregation. Here we go. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvah haboreh, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. We're going to stand now and look around. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvah haboreh, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvah haboreh, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Full voices. Hareini mikabel alai mitzvah haboreh, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You can be seated. And we'll continue on page 10A, with the morning blessings. I'm sorry, I got to stand again for the morning blessings. Sorry about that. Please stand for the morning blessings, page 10A. Page 10. Page 10.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sechli bina, le'avchin ben yom u'ben layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten laya'ef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'inai utnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chori. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Everybody can be seated. On Shabbat, when we do the morning blessings, we take a moment to share blessings that have occurred for us in the week that is ending. So take a moment, think about the year that has passed, and if a particular blessing that occurred to you during that year that has passed comes to mind, just take a moment and share it with someone who's sitting nearby you. It's called the electronic shofar, waking us up for the day. We continue now on page 14a, Psalm 27, Achat Sha'alti.
Shalti meit Adonai ota atesh. Shalti meit Adonai ota atesh. Shivti b'beit Adonai kol yamei chayai. Lazot b'noam Adonai uvake bechalom. Lazot b'noam Adonai uvake bechalom. Adonai ota atesh. Shalti meit Adonai ota atesh. Shiti b'beit Adonai kol yamei chayai. Lazot b'noam Adonai uvake bechalom. Lazot b'noam Adonai uvake bechalom.
Continue with Baruch Shamar, page 15.
Baruch Shamar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch. Baruch Shamar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch. Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer V'Oseh, Baruch Kozen Kayeh, Baruch Merachem Haaretz, Baruch Shema Bechayah Ha'olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shema Bechayah Ha'olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Merachem Al Habriot, Mishalem Sachar Tov Lireah, Baruch Hayam L'Netzach, Odeu Matzil Baruch Shema, Baruch Shema Bechayah Ha'olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shema Bechayah Ha'olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu.
Continue our Sukkah de Zimra, our passages of praise, with Psalm 150 on page 18b.
Hallelujah, 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 take a shofar. Hallelujah, never before. Hallelujah, tohu machor. Hallelujah, when God. Hallelujah, 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 b'tzilzalei Shema. Hallelujah, b'tzilzalei Teruah. Kol HaShanah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Kol HaShanah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Kol HaShanah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
Page 21b. 21b. Holy One, your nature is pure power, your glory great to behold, your might unbounded by time. Awestruck are those who worship you. HaMelech Yoshev al Kisei Ram v'Nisa, majestic God enthroned beyond time and space, eternally present, your name hallowed on high by the psalmist who sang, rejoice in Adonai, you righteous, for praise is delightful for the upright to enjoy. Please rise and turn to page 23 for Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma 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 Tivrach Rutei Ve'amli יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמר
In the page 24. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall observe a sacred occasion. You shall not work at your occupations. You shall observe it as a day when the horn is sounded, a day of festivity. Truly happy is the people with knowledge of this sound. Teruah, Adonai, your presence lights the way. Page 25. We remain standing for Elena.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol לתת כלל יוצר בראשית, לא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם. וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים.
Right to the bima now are Ba'alei Tekiah, Elias Albertson, and Lily Siegel. Page 26, we remain standing for the brachot, the blessings over the sounding of the shofar on its first calls, the calls of Malchuyot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishma kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Tekiah, Shavarim Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shavarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah.
Yashikah. More later.
Nevi'nu mazin mabuitu machi Tekiyateinu. Nevi'nu mazin mabuitu machi Tekiyateinu. Page 28, we remain standing still for Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Adonai Everybody can be seated. We continue on page 30. Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemla Gola V'Tera Chamata Aleinu
Anu Avotenu ve'imotenu shebatchu b'cha, shebatchu b'cha, avotenu ve'imotenu. ותלמדם חוקי חיים, כתכננו תלמדנו, אבינו אהב הרחמן, הרחם רחם עלינו. ותן וביבנו ואהבים, ואבינו להשכיל לשמוע, מלמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות ולקיים. את כל דברי תלמוד, תורתך ואהבה. והערנו בתורתך, ודבק בנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. הערנו בתורתך, ודבק בנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה ולראה את שמך.
ולא נראש, ולא נגלה, ולא ניכשל, לעולם
כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא בתחתונים נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה ישועתך.
Take a moment, those who are wearing their talit, to gather the four corners of your talit together on hand. We do this as we recall the ingathering of our people from the four corners of the earth. V'havienu l'shalom me'arpakam b'flot haaretz v'tolichenu kamimihu le'artzenu Yeshuotata, Ubacharta mikol am velashon, B'keravtanu, B'shimcha hagadol, Selah, Be'emet, Le'odot lecha, U'yachedecha, U'yachedecha,
Baruch atah Adonai, abocher b'amo Yisrael, E'ava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We continue silently the second and third paragraphs of the Shema, and then we'll continue in a few moments on page 36.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Hi, Elohechem. And page 38b. The voice that redeems us comes from within. Said Rabbi Eliezer, consider the courage of Israel. When Moses said to the people in Egypt, arise and go forth, they did not ask, how can we go into the wilderness with no sustenance for the way? They had faith and went forward. The voice that lifts up the lowly upholds the exhausted and tells us to put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes it comes from within. Page 39.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר הקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאולים לשמך, על שפת הים יחד כולם, הודויים לי ואמרו.
אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
צור ישראל, ומה בעזרת ישראל, ופתחנו מחיות בישראל, גואלנו, אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל.
We rise for the Tefillah, page 40.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Eloi Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hayadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Kol Chasadim, Amen. Magen Abraham, Bezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור, לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב, להושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל רחמים רבים, סומך נופלים רופא חולים, מתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו ישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה ומן המלך, מלך מימית ומחייב, ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אל רחמים, זוכר יצורה, לחיים מרחמים, נאמן אתה בחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי
Remain standing, page 44.
ונתנה תוקף קדושת היום, כי הוא נורא ביום. ובוא תינשא מלכותך, ויקרון בחסד כיסאך, ותשב עליו באמת.
Sacred power of this day inspires us with awe and fear. For from your throne, your rule holds sway. With love and truth, you draw us near together. In truth, you are judge and arbiter, counsel and witness. You write and seal, record and tally. As you open the book of remembrance, you remember deeds we have long forgotten. What is written proclaims itself, for it bears the signature of every human being. The great shofar cries, T'kiyah shvarim, truah t'kiyah. Then a subtle whisper of sound is heard that holds even the angels in fearful suspense as they declare, this is the day of judgment, for in judgment you review the hosts on high. None of them escapes your judgment, while all who dwell on earth pass before you like sheep. As a shepherd examines the flock, causing each sheep to pass beneath the staff, so do you collect and consider, record and recount every living soul, setting the bounds of each life as you decree its destiny.
Rosh HaShanah ikatevu, Uvyom Yom Kippur yechatevu,
HaShanah Yikatevu, Yikatevu. Yom Tzom Kippur Yechatevu, Yechatevu.
Kama yavrun, v'chama yibaregu, mi yichyeh umi yamut, mi v'kitzo umi lo v'kitzo.
Rosh HaShanah Yikatevu, Yikatevu. Yom Tzom Kippur Yechatevu, Yechatevu.
Mi v'mayim umi v'esh mi v'cherev umi v'chaya mi v'rosh umi v'magefa mi v'chanika umi v'skila.
Rosh HaShanah Yikatevu, Yikatevu. Yom Tzom Kippur Yechatevu, Yechatevu.
Mi yanuach mi yashkit mi yishalev mi yani umi yatir umi yishpal
Rosh Hashanah Yikatevu, Yikatevu. Yom Tzom Kippur Yechatevu, Yechatevu. You can be seated. On Rosh HaShanah, we plunge like swimmers into a sea of words. On Yom Kippur, the sea rises, then crests, and we emerge, sealed by the wax, warmed by the fire of braided candles. The new year is like a trailhead, opening wide before us. The day of fasting, narrow, breathless, so quick to close. Let's read together. We contemplate a new year, and this we know. Some of us will live, and some of us will die. Some will die young, and some very old. Some by water, and some by fire. Some by sword, and some by beast. Some by hunger, and some by thirst. Some by plague, and some by earthquake. Some by stoning, and some by strangling. Some of us will feel at ease, some will be restless. Some will have peace of mind, some will have strife. Some will be tranquil, some will be tormented. Some will be raised high, some will be brought low. Some will have riches, some will be impoverished.
ותשובה ותפילה וצדקה מעבירים את רוע הגזירה.
On 47b, we read together, "Even so, the way we act, the way we speak, the way we meet God's image in ourselves and in others, these things have great power to make our lives matter. Therefore, let us make whole the broken shards, green and thick the withering grass. Let the wind fill us with urgency for life. Let dreams give birth to justice and goodness. God of holiness, God of hope, let us glimpse your truth as we attach our hope to yours." Page 49, page 49. Please rise.
Nekadesh, Nekadesh, Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom. Kakatuv al yad nevi'echa, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר. קדוש, קדוש, Adir, Adirenu, Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir, Madir, Shimcha bechol haaretz. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Erachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
לטובתו נגיד לך, לטובתו לדור נגיד כל אחד. אלוקים ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך תקדיש. ושפרך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, ליומם לעד. לדור ודור נגיד כל אחד. לדור ודור נגיד כל אחד. המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, גדול וקדוש אתה.
You can be seated. And we'll read together on page 52. Page 52. In your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy in Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see a beam of light in the darkness, a promise for perfection. And on the next page together, in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision, bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice, and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. And on 54, you and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation, upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you. As the psalmist believed, Adonai will reign eternally, your God, Zion, for all generations. Hallelujah.
Kadosh ata v'nora shemecha ve'ein Eloah mibaladecha kakatuv ve'yigmar Adonai tzavaot b'mishpat ve'ha'el hakadosh nikdash v'tzedakah. Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech 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 HaKadosh.
Page 58. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, kadshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkenu b'toratecha, sab'enu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha, taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet, ki ata Elohim emet, v'dvarcha emet v'kayam la'ad. Together, our God, God of our fathers and mothers, lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, for you are a faithful God whose truth stands forever. Baruch atah Adonai, Melech al kol haaretz, Mikadesh Yisrael v'yom hazikaron. Our praise to you, Eternal One, whose power pervades all the earth. You bring holiness to the people of Israel and to this day of remembrance. Page 59b. We'll read together the prayer for Jerusalem. Our feet are standing at your gates, Jerusalem. Jerusalem built as a city bound firmly together, where tribes once went up to give thanks to God. where thrones of justice were once set. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love her. May peace be in her walls, tranquility in her towers. May God bless us from Zion, and let us see the good of Jerusalem. Let us see our children's children, and peace upon Israel. Baruch atah Adonai amachzir shchinato l'tzion. Blessed are you, whose divine presence is felt again in Zion. We continue on page 60. Page 60.
מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו, לאמותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו, מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. צור חיינו, מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. אתה הוא לדור ודור.
Page 62b. Don't stop. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating them and making musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants war, whoever wants to make war again, will have to turn them into plowshares first. We turn back to page 61b.
Thankful. Nothing ever happens more than once. The next time is never like before. What you thought you learned doesn't apply. Something is different and just as real, for which you might be thankful after all. Giver of life and all good gifts, grant us the wisdom to use only what we need, courage to trust your bounty, imagination to preserve our resources, determination to deny frivolous excess, and inspiration to sustain us through temptation.
On page 62.
Eloheinu ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, ברכנו הברכה המשולשת הכתובה בתורה, המאמורה בפי כהנים, עם קדושך כאמור.
We're to invite those who are Kohanim to come to the bima. You have Kohanim in the congregation? Please come to the bima.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך. יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
Page 63.
חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. ברכנו אבינו כולנו כאחד באור פניך.
כי באור פניך נתת לנו אדוני אלוהיך תורת חיים ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. Sing shalom tova u'bracha. Sing shalom tova u'bracha.
וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך, עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך, בשלומך.
Sing shalom tova u'bracha. Sing shalom tova u'bracha. Baruch atah Adonai, osei shalom.
Take a moment now for silent prayer. A moment away from the printed word to examine ourselves deep inside. Three things remind me of you: the heavens who are a witness to your name, the earth which expands my thought and is the thing on which I stand, and the musing of my heart when I look within. An extended silence now to look within. We're going to continue a moment with the second sounding of the shofarot. So we'll invite our Ba'alei Tkiya back to the bima. I understand that there's a bit of a smell of smoke in the Beit Tfilah. We want you to not be worried. The smoke is coming from across the street and is just carrying in because we have all the doors and windows open for airflow. So if you do smell the smoke, don't be worried. It's not coming from here in the building. Page 68. Page 68. God of remembrance, remember the covenant of our ancestors. We reaffirm it today. Remember we are a people of noble ideals. Help us to attain them. Remember all your people, all the nations on the road to peace. Bless their efforts. Remember with mercy the binding of Isaac, the sorrow of Sarah, Abraham's words, Hineni, here I am. Our memory fades, but you remember all that we have forgotten. Your presence is a throne where all things matter and nothing is lost. Baruch atah Adonai, zocher habrit. Blessed are you, Adonai. You remember the covenant. You remember us. Please rise. Tekiah, Shavarim Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shavarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah. We're going to sing our favorite song about the shofar. Okay? I love to hear the shofar. Ready? Here we go.
happy New Year. Okay, repeat after me. Tekiah.
Tekiah.
Shvarim.
Shivarim.
Truah. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Happy, happy, happy New Year.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God, God of our ancestors, we pray that you will bless these, our children. They may continue to grow in health and strength. May this new year be a year of learning and discovery, a year of joy and wonder, a year of goodness and blessing for them and for their families and for us all. Let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Happy, happy, happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Okay. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
And we remain standing and turn to page 71. And I invite to open the Ark, Judy and Gary Bader. Judy and Gary.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Hatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chol Aleinu, Li'ol Aleinu. Let our pain
Everybody can be seated. If you are like me, trying to recall events of the past can on occasion be a bit of a challenge. So many times, and I have come to accept that this happens more often as I get even older, I try to recall the details of an event or an encounter with another person, and I cannot for the life of me remember them with any sort of precision, and sometimes not at all. Then there are moments that come back to me with total clarity, even though some of them happened long ago. And these memories are replete with exacting detail: names, places, subject matter, what I was wearing, what we ate. That's how I recall the very first time I set foot in this synagogue. It was on a Sunday morning. I had flown into San Francisco from Colorado Springs, where Ricky's niece had just become bat mitzvah. Sue Horst met me at the airport and brought me here for my interview. I was nervous and excited at the same time, full of self-confidence, but in somewhat of a state of wonder about how the day might unfold. The morning consisted of interview sessions with different groups of people: the search committee, the board of trustees, the president of the congregation, members of the temple staff, and a mixed grouping of various members who had volunteered to attend a study session that I was asked to teach. My memory of it all is quite vivid, even as I speak about it now. Who I met in which session, where the different meetings were held, who I sat next to, and what we talked about. One of the highlights of the day was my meeting with the past presidents. I remember sitting next to Arthur Becker of blessed memory, who was very kind and very encouraging to me. And only after it was all over did someone tell me that he was just a few months shy of 100 years old. It was in that meeting with the past presidents that one of the group made the following statement: "Rabbi, I hope that you won't be political in your sermons. Our last rabbi was political and it didn't play very well. I hope you will leave politics at home and keep them off the bima." Now, this is the moment my memory gets a bit fuzzy, because I'm sure that I chose my words carefully, trying to honor the concern behind the question without pushing back too hard. It was an interview, you know. Because the truth is that it would be impossible for me to be your rabbi, because I would be derelict in my duties if I did not use the power of the Bima to address the issues that face us as individuals, as a community, and as a nation. Religion cannot be apolitical. In order for the synagogue to be a place whose mission and message is relevant to our lives, it cannot be silent on the issues of the day. The synagogue and its rabbi must offer insight and leadership in matters that concern our everyday lives. It would not be enough each year to just give another talk about observing Shabbat or coming to services, because if that's the best we can do, why would you want to come here at all? Thinking about it, I realized that the question was really about partisan politics from the Bima. And flashing lights. The concern was whether or not I might use my position as rabbi to advocate the position of one political party over the other in a community that includes members who hold a wide spectrum of political beliefs and affiliations. And this has become even more of a concern in the current climate of divisiveness that marks the American political scene. Across the nation, congregants are wondering, is our rabbi going to take sides, with the possibility of alienating or demeaning those of us who hold differing views? Only 1 year ago, we gathered here to welcome the new year with a presidential election just weeks away. The daily news was consumed with one candidate's emails and the other candidate's misogyny. Little did we know that a year later our concerns would be about the rise of fascism and bigotry, foreign interference with our democratic institutions, economic disparity, losing our health care, and the possibility until recently unimaginable of nuclear war. And so this is the time to speak about the issues. But I want to do it in the way that I have spoken about social or political matters over these years. The unique way in which rabbis and synagogues can contribute to the conversation, and that is through the voice of the Torah. So this will not be a Democratic or Republican Party stump speech. Instead, I will try to present the platform of a political party I have created in my imagination, one that reflects the values, teachings, and the practices of the Torah. So for today only, I have created such a political party, which I am calling the Hebrew National Party. And I'm thinking that our slogan should be, come on, you can say it with me, we answer to a higher authority. The good news is that our party already has a nationally recognized logo, and that there will be little debate about what will be served at party conventions. So here it is, the platform of the Hebrew National Party. On immigration, remember that you were strangers in the land of Egypt, is the governing principle of this plank of our party's platform. Having been strangers in a foreign land and having been mistreated and abused by the host population and its leader, we are obligated to treat the strangers in our midst with compassion and generosity, not to oppress the stranger or deny him his dignity or the requisites of basic humanity upon which we all depend. We read in Leviticus chapter 18, and Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, I am Adonai your God. You shall not do as they did to you in the land of Egypt, where you lived." In the Torah, the word for stranger is ger, and a ger toshav is literally a resident alien, a non-citizen who resides among us taking upon himself or herself all of the obligations and responsibilities of a citizen, while recognizing that they have not gone through the process that is required for granting citizenship, and therefore they may not be entitled to all of the privileges afforded to full citizens. In biblical times, resident aliens of this kind were a regular part of the community, so much so that the Torah articulates rules and regulations for our treatment of the Ger Toshav. We learn that the Ger Toshav is eventually absorbed into the community and achieves full citizenship, and the community of Israel grows and is enriched by them and by their children, as we read only a few weeks ago in Parshat Ki Tetzei. You shall not abhor an Edomite, for he is your kinsman. You shall not abhor an Egyptian, for you were a stranger in his land. Children born to them may be admitted into the congregation of the Eternal in the third generation. This would suggest that a path to citizenship for resident aliens and their children should be part of our platform, though not necessarily for all, as we also read in Ki Tetzei. No Ammonite or Moabite shall be admitted into the congregation of the Eternal, none of their descendants even to the 10th generation, because they did not meet you with food and water on your journey after you left Egypt, and because they hired Bil'am, son of Beor, to curse you. The Torah is clear that a path to citizenship may indeed be denied to those resident aliens whose prior acts indicate that they may not support the community, follow its laws, or share its values. Drawing on our experience in Europe during the Holocaust and in Arab lands since the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, we know the heart of those forced to leave their homes and seek refuge in lands that offer religious freedom and democracy. We know the terrible price that was paid by our ancestors when the doors of the United States and Canada were closed to their flight from the Nazis, and how many found refuge in countries with open doors, like China and Argentina. And we know that the state of Israel received refugees from Yemen and Syria and Egypt, and later from Ethiopia and the countries of the former Soviet Union. And we know what the fate of our brothers and sisters would have been had there not been a place of refuge for them. Our Torah values platform would be welcoming of refugees from all areas of the world where internal conflict or regime change creates vulnerable populations, or where genocide or ethnic cleansing threatens the lives of the targeted minorities. 2, on responding to economic disparity. The Torah teaches that a nation is measured by how it cares for its most vulnerable, repeatedly calling upon us to take up the case of the widow, the orphan, and the stranger, all of whom shared a status within ancient society that prevented them from owning property and thereby from supporting themselves. Jewish tradition understands that social and economic realities change over time, and the nature of our support for the poor needs to take those changes into consideration. In Leviticus we read, "If your brother becomes poor and cannot maintain himself with you, you shall support him as though he were a stranger and a sojourner, and he shall live with you. Take no interest from him or profit, but fear your God, that your brother may live beside you." And elsewhere in Leviticus, "When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the corner of your field, or gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall not pick your vineyard bare or gather the fallen fruit of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I am Adonai your God. You shall not steal, you shall not deal deceitfully or falsely with one another." The Torah challenges us not to think of this kind of giving as if we were giving to the poor from our own property, or that somehow God has despised the poor by not giving bread to them as has been given to us. Rabbi Moses Alshich, a 16th century commentator, writes in his work Torat Moshe, "For he is also my child just as you are, but his portion is in your produce." One is to gain merit by accepting one's responsibility to distribute a portion of the resources with which one has been entrusted. One does not even own one's income until one has separated out the portion for the poor. One holds them briefly in trust for the poor. The challenge, according to Alshich, is to consider this tzedakah like the taxes that are withheld from your income. It was never really yours anyway. Rabbi Jacob ben Asher, a 13th century Spanish commentator, wrote in his commentary, the Baal HaTurim, that a poor person is warned not to take more than what is appropriate for his needs. Here, Asher addresses the general need for equitable distribution and also responds to the usually exaggerated but nevertheless corrosive fear of poor people taking advantage of the system. Prophet Isaiah made the connection between the fasting that we do on Yom Kippur and our commitment to the values, to living the values of social justice that our tshuva fasting represents, asking, is this the fast that God requires of us? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and to bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover him and not to hide yourself from your own flesh. Here at BIJ, it has been our long-standing custom to respond to Isaiah's challenge by bringing donations of food when we come to services on Yom Kippur. Part of our ongoing work to bring about hunger relief in our community, to ensure the well-being of those whose fasting is not always a matter of choice. You will see the food donation bins in the foyer when you leave the synagogue today. The Torah's concern for economic disparity includes forgiveness of loans in the sabbatical year, every 7th year, and return of property to its ancestral owners in the Jubilee, every 50 years. In this way, the corrosive effects of a great economic divide are mitigated against and harmony is restored to the social order. Our platform would respond to economic disparity by requiring those who have enough to provide for the needs of the poor and disadvantaged in our communities through social assistance, tax reform, and a variety of issues that are consistent with the Torah's values, including fair employment and wage practices. Our platform would also include access to health care and social security for all to ensure the well-being and dignity of the most vulnerable in our communities. As we read in Psalm 83, give justice to the weak and the fatherless, maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. 3, on going to war. The Torah has very specific rules for warfare, clearly reflecting its reluctance to see the Israelite nation go to war except in exigent circumstances. I believe that this reflects the Jewish attitude toward war. In an imperfect world, the Torah recognizes war as an unfortunate necessity. Ancient Israel had to defend itself like any other nation. But the Torah also lays down guidelines to ensure that war is entered into sparingly and carried out compassionately. In general, the wars fought by the Jewish armies were divided into 2 categories: Milchemet Mitzvah, an obligatory war, and Milchemet Reshut, a voluntary war. An example of an obligatory war would be the battles waged by Joshua to conquer the land of Israel, and all wars fought to defend the land, or the people of Israel, were also included in this category. Voluntary wars Those not in these categories, but nevertheless deemed necessary by the nation's leaders, could be fought only with the consent of the High Court of 71 Torah sages. In either case, the Jewish armies were forbidden to initiate a war without first attempting to offer the enemy peace. The war could be entered into only if the enemy rejected the peace initiative. When besieging a city, we are enjoined not to encircle the entire city. Rather, one side must remain open, allowing all those who wish to flee to do so. Neither may we cut down fruit trees outside the city, nor stuff up the water supply, and we must maintain hygienic standards and preserve human dignity. This applies in times of peace as well. In fact, the sages derived the prohibition against wantonly destroying natural resources, known as Bal Tashchit, from these laws. The Jewish armies were led out to war by a special Kohen, special priest, known as the Mashuach Milchama, the one anointed for war, who was designated for this task. He would encourage the soldiers to fight bravely, telling them that God was surely on their side. He would announce that anyone who had recently betrothed a woman but not married her, planted an orchard but not yet worked it, or built a new home but not yet moved in, should leave the battlefield and support the warriors from behind the lines. The Kohen would also announce that anyone who was afraid should leave the front rather than dampen the morale of his comrades. When the Kohen spoke of fear, he was not just speaking about those frightened by the dangers of battle. He was also talking to the person who knew that he had sinned against God and might not be worthy of divine protection in a dangerous situation. These laws, and the many others governing warfare, were designed to ensure that the Jews performed their roles as a light unto the nations, a beacon of righteousness in a dark and immoral world. Of course, the Torah's main objective is to achieve the purpose for which the world was created, the Messianic era, when they shall beat their swords into plowshares, their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Our platform would view the use of military force as a last alternative, only to be contemplated in defense of the nation or its citizens, or when authorized by an act of Congress, and then only after the failure of negotiations to achieve a peaceful settlement. Provisions would be made to exempt designated categories of men and women from active military service, including conscientious objectors. And the rules of engagement would respect the humanity of the enemy and of non-combatant citizens, as well as the natural resources upon which they depend for their sustenance. The new year, 5778, will give us ample time to consider these and additional planks to the platform of political and social issues that face our nation. In the absence of an opportunity to advance such a platform through the ballot box, there will be one more Rosh HaShanah before that opportunity is afforded. We will have to make our case through political activism. To bring about change, we will have to engage with our political leaders, writing and meeting civic officials, state assembly members, and our members of Congress. We will have to mobilize our community through public forums and protests, supporting our leaders when they act in consonance with our values and calling them out when they do not. Mario Cuomo, the former governor of New York, in a speech entitled Religious Belief and Morality, said this: "The ghetto walls are gone. Our religion no longer a badge of irredeemable foreignness. This newfound status is both an opportunity and a temptation. If we choose, we can give in to the temptation to become more and more assimilated into a larger, blander culture, abandoning the practice of the specific values that made us different, worshiping whatever gods the marketplace has to sell, while we seek to rationalize our own laxity by urging the political system to legislate on others, a morality we no longer practice ourselves. Or we can remember where we came from, the journey of 2 millennia, clinging to our personal faith, to its insistence on constancy and service and hope. He was speaking, of course, of Catholics in America, but ours is a shared experience and a shared responsibility. When government policies and national programs seem to reflect a morality not in keeping with our tradition and a direction not consistent with our values. It's not about us and them, Democrat and Republican, native-born and foreigner, old and young, rich and poor, sick and well. As Abraham Lincoln reminded us, a nation divided against itself cannot stand. It is about bringing the Torah's teaching to the national debate in a spirit of unity and with respectful debate and advocacy. In Lincoln's words, with malice toward none and with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which we may achieve and cherish, just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. May this be our prayer and our marching order in the year that begins this day. And may God accompany us as we take upon ourselves this holy work. King Hiratzon. I'm now going to turn to the Rabbi Morris Machzer, which is in your pews. And I will invite you to turn in Shema Kolenu, hear our prayer, Machzor, to page 48. Seder Hotziat Torah, the service for taking the Torah from the Ark, page 48. 48. Now, as we approach the ark to open the ark, I invite to the bima Mirna Melgar and Matthew Lefkowitz to carry the scrolls.
ויהי בנשוא אהרון ויאמר משה ומה אדוני וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי מציון תצא תורה כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני לירושלים ברוך שנתן תורה תורה ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל לקדושתו. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, Erev Chesed Be'emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Nosei Avon, Afesham, V'chata V'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim, Erev Chesed Be'emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Nosei Avon, Afesham, V'chata Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim, Erev Chesed Be'emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Nosei Avon, Afesham, V'chata Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Nora V'Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh V'Norah Shemo.
Gadol Adonai iti, Uniromema Shemo Yachdav.
Zion תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני בשמיים. מציון תצא תורה, מירושלים, מירושלים, מירושלים. מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני בירושלים. מציון תצא תורה. שנתן תורה לאמור, ברוך שנתן תורה לאמור, שנתן תורה לאמור, ישראל בקדושתו. שנתן תורה לאמור, ישראל בקדושתו. ציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני ירושלים, כי בציון תצא תורה. בירושלים, בירושלים, בירושלים. אלך דוידי, ושנה ואנה תתעלה. אלך עמדה ליבי, 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 ושנה ואנה תתעלה. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותענה הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותענה הארץ. עיר הים, עיר הים, עיר הים ולאו, עיר הים, עיר הים, עיר הים ולאו. שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, העולם אומר. שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, העולם אומר. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. בירושלים עיר הקודש, בבני עמנו. 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 Yerushalayim, 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 Yerushalayim,
Okay, now I'll invite everyone to return to your seats. You can follow the reading of the Torah on page 52, beginning on page 52 in the 53 in the Chuma and the Machzor that you're holding. We have Jamie Morgenstern to read the first Aliyah, and for the Brachot for the first Aliyah. We invite Anne and Ben and Deborah Schweitzer and Nancy Greenberg and Marty Siegel. Ya'amdu Asinat Eka bat Mordechai Lev, Yehuda ben Avram, Blima Rezel bat Yehuda ve'asenet Ikar, Yehudit bat Yael v'zev, Mordechai ben Shmuel, Ya'amdu Yishon.
Flowers.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarah. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Barak Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vadonai pakaret Sarah kasher amar vayas Adonai lesarah kasher diber vatelet Sarah leAvraham ben lizkuna lamohed asher diber oto Elohim. Vayikra Avraham et shem beno hanolad lo asher yalda lo Sarah Yitzchak. Vayamol Avraham et Yitzchak beno ben shmonat yamim כאשר ציווה אותו אלוהים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et emet v'chayei olam natan betokeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
For the second Aliyah, we call Deborah Benjamin and Max Braun to the reading of the Torah. And for the Aliyah, we invite Stacy Goldstein, Ta'amod, Sarah Leah, Bat Shlomo Begittel, Ta'amod, Hashniah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai
Shmo.
noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'Avraham ben me'at shana ve'hiva lo et Yitzhak beno v'tomer Sarah sachok asali Elohim kol hashamea Yitzhak li. V'tomer mi lele Abraham Heni kavanim Sarah ki aladti ven liskunav vayigdal hayeled vayigamal vayas Avraham mishte gadol v'yom higamel et Yitzchak v'ter Sarah et ben Hagar hamitzrit asher yalda le'Avraham mitzachek. Vatomer Avraham garesh ha'ama hazot be'bena ki lo yirash ben ha'ama hazot im beni im Yitzchak vayera hadavar me'od be'enei Avraham al odot beno Vayomer Elohim El Avraham Al Yera Be'enecha Al Hana Arba Al Amatecha Ko Asher Tomar Elecha Sarah Shema B'Kola Ki V'Yitzchak Yikare Lecha Zara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. For the third Aliyah, we called Gemma Bauk to the reading of the Torah, Deborah and Ryder Bauk to the Aliyot. Ya'amdu Shena Devorah Bat Bela, Levi and Shena Devorah. Ya'amdu Shlishi.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam. Amen.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
וגם את בן האמה לגורי אשימנו, כי זרעך הוא. וישכם אברהם בבוקר, ויקח לחם וחמת מים, ויתן על הגר. שם על שכמה, ואת הילד וישלחיה, ותלך ותטע במדבר באר שבע. ויכלו המים מן החמת, ותשלח את הילד תחת אחד השיחים, ותלך ותשב לה מנגד הרוחק, כמטר חרבי קשת, כי אמרה על הרי במות הילד. ותשב מנגד, ותישא את קולה, ותבך, וישמע אלוהים את קול הנער, ויקרא מלאך אלוהים על הגר מן השמיים, ויאמר למלאך הגר, אל תראי, כי שמע אלוהים על קול הנער אשר הוא שם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
For the fourth Aliyah, we call Lily Siegel to the reading of the Torah. And we apologize that her name got left out of the readers program, because originally I was reading this Aliyah and then Lily stepped up. And we call for the Aliyot, Reva Safford, and her parents, Dina and Sydney Adler. Ya'amdu Rivka Chana, Bat Yisrael, Menachama, Chama Dina, Bat Yecheskel, Yisrael ben Yosef, Ya'amdu Revi'i.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam.
Baruch atah Baruch Le'olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Kumi se'i et hana'ar, v'chachaziki et yadech bo, ki legoi gadol Asimenu Vayifkach Elohim et Einecha Vaterech Be'er Maim Vaterech Vatmale et Chachemet Maim Vatash et Chanaar Vayehi Elohim et Chanaar Vayigdal Vayeshev Bamidbar Vayehi Roveh Kashat
Yes.
Vayeshev Bamidbar Bamidbar Haran Vatikachlo Imo Isha Eretz Mitzrayim.
Last 3 words. That's the first time, right?
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'dochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For the fifth Aliyah, we invite Lynn Stillman to the reading of the Torah and Jeffrey Stillman to the Aliyah. Ya'amod Yaakov ben Menachem Ya'amod Chamishi.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacharbanu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayehi vayet hahi vayomer avimelech ufikol sartivo el Avraham lemor Elohim imha b'kol asher ata oseh ve'ata hishavah li Elohim henad im tishkor li unasi chesed asher atziti im hataseh imadi vayim haaretz asher garta ba vayomer Avraham Anohi shavea vehohi Avraham et Avimelech eladot ba'er hamayim asher gazlu avdei Avimelech vayomer Avimelech lo yadati mi asa את הדבר הזה, וגם אתה לא הגעת לי, וגם אנוכי לא שמעתי בלתי היום. וייקח אברהם זון ובקר, ויתן אבימלך, ויכרתו שניהם ברית.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Misha Beirach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Hu Yivarech et Cholim. We ask God's blessing upon all those who are sick and in need of healing. If you know someone who is sick and in need of healing, in a moment I'm going to ask you to call out their names loud enough for those around you to hear them so that the room is filled with their names. But we also want to include in this Misha Berach members of our congregation who are not able to be with us here in the Beit Tfilah, but who are joining our service by the live streaming of the service to their homes. So we wish them a refuah shlema, complete healing, and look forward to the moments when they can join us again here in the Beit Tfilah. If you know someone who is sick and in need of healing, please call their names out now loudly so that those around you can hear their names. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yivarech otam, v'yitein lahem refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. We pray that the Holy Blessed One will send to each of these people we have named, and to all those who are in need of healing, a complete healing, healing of body and of spirit. And let us all say, Amen.
Avotenu, Mikor Abraham, Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu, Mikor Abraham, Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
For the sixth Aliyah, we invite Alyssa and Jeffrey Glick to the reading of the Torah, and Lynn Glick, Beth, and Daniel Weisberg to the Aliyot. Ya'amdu Yehochana bat Abraham Sarah, Chava bat Abraham Udevora, Daniel ben Abraham. Ya'amdu Shishi
Adonai HaMarak.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Vayed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher nakaranu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayatsev Abraham et Sheva Kivso Tatzon Levadehen Vayomer Avimelech El Abraham Mahena Sheva Kivasot Ha'eleh Asher Hitzavta Levadana Vayomer Ki et Sheva Kivasot Tikach mi'adi ba'avur tihieli le'eda ki hafarti et haba'er hazo.
Al Kain Kara Lamakom Hahu Be'er Ki Sham Nishba'u Shnehem Vayichretuhu Verihi Biver Shava Vayakom Avimelech Ufiho Sar Tzavahu Vayashuvu El Eretz Pilishtim Vayita Ishel Biver Shava Vayikra Sham V'Shem Adonai El Olam Vayager Avraham Be'eretz Pilishtim Yamim Rabim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Now to lift and dress the first scroll, we call Igor Kleiner as Hagba and Hinara Morgenstern as Glila. Ya'amdu, Amagbia, Lelet. V'zot HaTorah asher samo Hashem b'nei Yisrael aliyah As we exchange scrolls for the second reading, we remain standing for Chatzikat.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברכותי וימליך מלכותי חייכון ובאומכון ופייתך בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו Shmed Kodesha, Ve'ela min kol birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Da'amiron Ve'alma. Da'amiron Ve'alma.
You can be seated. For the Aliyah for Maftir, we invite John Frank and Lynn Rappaport. To the Bima, Ya'amdu, Yonatan, Ben Shlomo, Ufecha, Leah, Bat Rachel, Reuven, Ya'amdu, Maftir.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach. Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. ובחודש השביעי, באחד לחודש, מקרא קודש יהיה לכם, כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו, יום תרועה יהיה לכם, ועשיתם עולה לריח ניחוח לאדוני, פר בן בקר אחד, איל אחד, כבשים בני שנה, שבעה תמימים, ומנחתם סולת לולב השמן, 3 עשרונים לפר, 2 עשרונים איל, וישר לאיל, וישרון אחד, לכבש אחד, לשבעת הכבשים, ושעיר עזים אחד חטאת, לכפר עליכם מלבד עולת החודש ומנחתה, ועולת התמיד ומנחתה, ונזקיהם כמשפטם, לריח ניחוח אישה לאדוני.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betuchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Now to lift the second scroll and dress the scroll, we invite Ian Brown as Hagban, Deborah Gittin as Galila. Ia Amdu, Haman Bia, Hamolelet. Zot HaTorah, Asher Yisrael Moshe, Yivnei B'nei Yisrael, Al B'yadon, B'yad Moshe. Tetzei Torah, Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki B'Tzion, Ki B'Tzion, Tetzei Torah. Yerushalayim, 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 Zion, Tetzei Torah, Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki B'Tzion, Ki B'Tzion, Tetzei Torah. Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim. Shenatan Torah Le'amon, Shenatan Torah Le'amon, Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amon, Shenatan Torah Le'amon, Yisrael B'Kedushato, Shenatan Torah Le'amon, Yisrael B'Kedushato, Zion, Tetzei Torah. Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim, Ki B'Tzion, Ki B'Tzion, Tetzei Torah. Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim. You can be seated. I'll invite now to the bima Michelle Siegel, our Haftarah reader, and you can follow the reading on page 64 and 65. Is that right? Page, yes. Right.
I'm only thinking about the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo Yisrael amo, uvin ha'emet b'tzedek. Titpalel hana v'tomar, alatz libi Adonai, Rama karni Adonai, rachav pi alo yevai. Ki samachti Yeshuatecha, ein kadosh kadonai, ki ein biltecha, ein tzur keloheinu. Al tarbu tedaberu, givoha, yetze atak mipichem, ki El Deot Adonai, V'lo nitkenu alilot, Keshet Giborim Chatim, V'nikshalim Azeru Chayil, Seveim Balechem Niskaru, Or Evim Adelu, Adakara ילדה שיבה ורבת בנים אומללה. אדוני ממית ומחיה, מוריד שאול ויעל. אדוני מוריש ומעשיר, משפיל אף מרומם. מקים מעפר דל, מאשפות ירים אביון, להושיב עם נדבים, בכיסא כבוד ינחילם. כי לאדוני מצוק ארץ, וישת עליהם תבל. רגלי חסידיו ישמור, ורשעים בחושך ידמו. כי לא בכוח יגבר איש. אדוני יחתו מריביו, עליו בשמיים ירם. אדוני ידין אפסי הארץ, ויתן עוז למלכו, וירם קרן נשיכו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם. כי אל מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש תושיע במחירה בימינו, ברוך אתה אדוני. משמח ציון בבניך, שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו, באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד נשיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו. כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יגבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן דוד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים, ביום הזיכרון הזה, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ודברך אמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל. מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל. מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל. ביום הזיכרון.
All right. We continue on page 80. Page 80, and we invite Kathy Bernstein and Jerry Bernstein to open the ark as we return the Torah to the ark.
את חיים Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Benashuva Arades Yameinu Arades Yameinu Bekedem.
We're going to ask you to stay standing for a minute to return to the new Machzor, page 76A. Page 76A in the Machzor. As we come to Seder Shofarot, the third sounding and final sounding of the Shofarot for this Rosh HaShanah. God revealed to us and to fathers and mothers before us, God of revelation. Play the song of our people's freedom on the great shofar. Let your banner fly over the gathering of our exiles. Bring back the dispersed. Let those who are scattered find their way home. Let joyful songs of Zion greet us in Jerusalem, your holy city, place of our people's eternal happiness. Our Ba'alei Tikiyah, please come to the Bima. We're on page 77 at the top of the page. Baruch Atah Adonai, Shomea Kol Truat Amo Yisrael Barachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai, who hears with love the shofar, the true voice of your people Israel. Wait for the Tikiyah Gedolah. Tikiyah. Shavarim Teruah. Tikiyah. Tikiyah. Shavarim. Tikiyah. Tikiyah. Teruah. Tikiyah Gedolah.
Areshet Sifatenu Yeram Lefanecha Elam Elisa Mehinu Mazin Mahitu Machivka Tikiyatenu Mehinu Mazin Mahitu Machivka Tikiyatenu Utkaber Rachamim Rachamim Uvratzon Seder Shofatenu.
Please remain standing for Aleinu, page 80. Page 80.
Aleinu Leshabeach La'adon Elakol L'teit Breshit Shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot V'lo samanu k'mishpachot Adama Shelo samach elkeinu kahin וגורלנו ככל אמונה. אנחנו רואים ומשתחווים ומודים.
Seated on page 81. So, Adonai, our God, we look to you, hoping soon to behold the splendor of your power revealed, a world free of idolatry and false gods, a world growing more perfect through divine governance, a world in which all human beings make known your name, while those who do evil turn toward you.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
The dead are always looking down on us, they say, while we are putting on our shoes or making a sandwich. They are looking down through the glass-bottomed boats of heaven as they row themselves slowly through eternity. They watch the tops of our heads moving below on earth. And when we lie down in a field or on a couch, drugged perhaps by the hum of a long afternoon, they think we are looking back at them, which makes them lift their oars and fall silent and wait like parents for us to close our eyes. Please rise if you have yahrzeit on Rosh HaShanah. And can you share the names of the folks you're remembering? Please rise if you were in Shloshim in the 30 days following the death of a loved one. Please rise if you were in the year of mourning. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 83. We rise together now with all those who are in mourning or who are remembering on this day, wherever they may be. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ve'almad yivrach yutei v'yalich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach ve'olam almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yit'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudesha.
B'richu.
Le'ila u'le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shalom araba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
V'osei shalom b'mamav. Hu yasei shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. Everyone may be seated except for the president of the congregation, Deb Braun, who comes now to the bima.
Good afternoon. I want to thank again Rabbi and Ricky again for leading the beautiful service, for the Hashira Choir and John Hurton for leading us so beautifully and so movingly, and who you can't see, but back in that room back there, Nicholas, who's making sure that our live stream is smooth and even and works well for the people who can't be here with us today. So thank you to all of them. A couple of things I want to say real quick before I start the announcements. Personally, it's always so poignant for me. I think today I laughed and I cried and my heart was so full of joy seeing the kids up here and moments of just utter solemnity, and the fact that we're here to self-reflect, but that we do it together. It means a lot to me, and the fact that I'm able to do it with all of you together means it makes it even more poignant. And so thank you all for being here and being part of our community together. And I want to take just one quick moment. There's so much to pray for right now, but particularly for our community, to pray and think about Puerto Rico. Our Natalie Melendez-Ortiz, her family is there, and I don't know that she's heard from all of them even yet. So if you'll all join me and Rabbi and Ricky and keep them in our hearts at this time until we know everyone is safe and cared for, and in the time ahead as they work forward for that. Okay, so tomorrow you have lots of choices of what you can do if you choose to be somewhere on the second day, continuing to celebrate Rosh HaShanah. The Southside Jewish Collaborative, of which we are one part, has 4 different offerings for you. Tomorrow morning at 8:45 at B'nai Emunah on Taravel and 46th Avenue, there is a traditional Rosh HaShanah service, and we're all welcome there. Another idea is at 10 o'clock, there's a Rosh HaShanah symposium, a panel presentation, 3 sets of shofar blasts, discussions moderated by their rabbi, and that's at Nir Tamid on Kintara and 22nd Avenue. At 10:30 a.m., there's a High Holy Day hike with prayer readings and song that Rabbi Gottlieb and Ricky are leading in Pacifica. And we'll meet at the Pacifica Pier and walk up to Maury Point. It's supposed to be a gorgeous day, so that's going to be where I will be. And 11 o'clock a.m., you can join Rabbi Katie of Or Shalom and David Cohen Sedek at Ocean Beach at Taraval. And they're going to lead a chant, meditative shofar service. So those are some options that you can participate in tomorrow if you choose. And then next week, of course, is Kol Nidre here at 8 o'clock. And then again, the family service at 9, and our service on Yom Kippur morning Saturday starts at 10. This Friday, there's no service here at BIJ, but we're all welcome to join at B'nai Emunah for their service. And Saturday morning, as usual, Torah study at 8:45 and service at 10 o'clock. And then one more thing I want to mention, since you're all here, we have coming up in October, after the holidays, after everything, a time just to be together and have fun. These flyers are out. There are some outside, and if there's not enough to take with you, you can find it on bij.org, our website. But we are having a night of comedy. It's called You're Funny, But You Don't Look Jewish. It's Saturday, October 28th. Here at BIJ. There are 4 comedians from different ethnicities who are all Jewish who will be here. And what they're doing is they share their own experience about being what they call undercover members of the tribe. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be food, wine, it's beer. It's for kids 14 and up are welcome to come. If your kids are younger, find something else for them to do that night. But it's going to be a nice time for us to be together and just have a good time together. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope to see you all here. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I wish you Shana Tova, Umutuka, sweet and happy, healthy New Year. And Shana Tova.
Service concludes now with Ein Kelohenu, page 86.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Aneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Immediately upon leaving the Beit Tfilah, you can go out into the temple courtyard where there is a bit of a kiddush to celebrate the day. And shortly after we begin in the courtyard, those who wish can join us as we proceed down to Lake Merced, to the bridge that goes across this part of the lake for Tashlich. Please leave the Morris Machzorim in the pews, but take the paper one with you and leave it on the table or the last row as you leave. We wish for all of you a good and sweet and happy new year. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Shana Tova.